Greetings, everyone, and welcome. Today is April the 11th, and I believe that the deal pending between the United States and Ukraine over mineral rights inside Ukraine is the most important negotiation happening on the planet right now. It's not the tariffs, it's not the war with China, it's not Witkoff sitting with Putin, but it is the negotiations that have restarted and are unfolding. And I'm going to tell you why right now. That is because this mineral deal will force Donald Trump to face off versus Vladimir Putin, and I'm going to tell you why. So as you can see in the thumbnail, the New York Times is crazy. Okay, first of all, they started pushing all of this narrative that the deal was the same, and okay, basically they're telling the truth, but they're just trying to get people to read the story that's really a non-story. So people have been running with it. So the thumbnail here, this is our deal update on the Ukrainian minerals. The reality is here, guys. Ukraine, U.S. reopened talks on contentious minerals deal. Then propaganda started running with it like crazy. Yes, talks are officially resuming, but the propaganda machine is already running, so patience is required. The new proposal, this is what Ukraine is working with right now. Is very similar to the original. That's the story being pushed. Ukraine must return billions of dollars to the United States received after Russia invaded 3 years ago. Ukraine required to transfer 50% of the income from extraction of natural resources to an investment fund which remains under USA control, with veto power having 3 out of 5 representative majority. Washington will receive all the fund's profits until Ukraine returns the entire amount of the monies of the investment plus 4% annually. The agreement contains no mention of security guarantees. And as we have said before, if this is the agreement, Ukraine will never agree to it, but it's the starting point for where we're at today. Once again, though, I'm submitting to you that this is the most important negotiation happening on the planet today, because this can force Donald Trump to face off versus Vladimir Putin. It's going to be interesting what unfolds over the next couple of days in regard to this. I can tell you right now that Prime Minister Shmyhal of Ukraine has put a red line on these conversations. Any mineral deal with the United States must not sabotage the Ukrainian desire to join the European Union. This is the number one red line which we communicate to all of our partners. We will negotiate in good faith, looking for the solution that is best for Ukraine. Kudos to you, Prime Minister Shmyhal. Trump is pushing for Kyiv for an agreement to share future profits from Ukrainian minerals, which he sees as compensation for the tens of billions of dollars in assistance given to the nation since the war started. That's the statements. Now, you notice there Shmyhal saying tens of billions. Not hundreds of billions. Just threw that in there, but that is his quote. Now, this is what happens. Interesting timing here from Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary. We will not let Brussels force us into accepting Ukraine's EU membership. This is a huge issue with widespread implications for our security, economy, and agricultural. We will ask the Hungarian people and act as they decide. So any mineral deal with the United States must not sabotage the Ukrainian desire to join the European Union. I repeat, this is once again Shmyhal and Ukraine's red line, and we can already see Orban working on the narrative. And yes, of course, we'll go to the Hungarian people, but Ukraine's not coming into the European Union. This can't happen. So you see the timing of it. But once again, the big story is I am confident that these negotiations on the mineral deal are the most important negotiations happening right now, because they will force Putin and Trump to square off having differences of opinions. Now, let me tell you why. Here's the big questions. First of all, it's interesting that Witkoff is in St. Petersburg. He's already met with Dmitriev, and now he actually is meeting with Vladimir Putin. I've been watching Putin's personal reporter. There is no information to give you on that, but be looking for that in the future update. Here's the big question. Does Donald Trump actually want Zelensky in office? We know that this is the narrative of Vladimir Putin. Ladies and gentlemen, remember it was a week before the Oval Office debacle that Trump was calling him a dictator, and then it was president, and then you're not dressed right. The reality is, and the way Donald Trump Jr. trolls Ukraine is just absolutely criminal and evil. Victoria Sparks calling Zelensky mafia. So the question is, does Trump want Zelensky in office? So listen to the logic here. If the United States is going to negotiate a deal on mineral rights, and Ukraine has already said themselves that it would either be Yermak or even Zelensky that would come and sign an official deal. What you have then is Trump signing a deal with the president that he doesn't like. Members of the House of Congress who are Ukrainian calls the mafia. And also knowing that the nation that is invaded, that the United States is signing the agreement deal to help Ukraine, Vladimir Putin completely rejects Vladimir Zelensky as a legitimate president. And Trump's going to sign a deal with Zelensky, whom he doesn't like, whom Putin says is illegitimate. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening because Donald Trump loves Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump loves Xi Jinping. Maybe love's too strong. They're my good friends. They're my friends, my buddies. Oh, and Rocket Boy, Kim Jong-un. Zelensky over the last couple of days has offered to purchase outright weapons from the United States. So the big question is, will the United States use that against him? Hey, why are we working on a minerals deal if you've got all of this money to now buy weapons? You watch, that story's going to come. We also have global economic turmoil with the tariffs on, off, markets up, markets down, Japan selling treasury bonds, you name it. It is an absolute debacle in this world financially, economically. And the Chinese game decisions will have impact on the United States bargaining power. There is a trade war, an economic war. There is massive things that are happening economically that can have direct impact on this mineral deal. But I conclude with this, and I'm going to ask you to drop a comment. Do you think we're onto something here? You see, if Trump signs a deal with Zelensky, he has legitimized Zelensky as the signator, as the president of Ukraine. Not a dictator, the president, and legitimately so, can sign a deal with the United States. But you see, Putin can't sign a deal with Zelensky on ceasefire, ending the war, because he's illegitimate. So then you come back, well, we've got to have new elections. All of this is one big story, and it's all connected. This is why I suggest to you today that the mineral deal is the biggest negotiation on the planet right now. What are your comments? Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and telling others the truth about what's happening in the world, and specifically Ukraine. Be blessed. We'll be back at you.